Okay, the first order of business, we're going to take the grip strap off so we can access the side panel. It's a Velcro strap. You just lift up the front tab, pull the Velcro out, take it through the rings, and it's off. These are the metal brackets that the strap goes through, so you'll know where to put it and how to take it off. Next, be sure to take the battery out of the camera. You don't want anything coming on while you're working on it. Close your viewfinder. You don't want your viewfinder to get damaged. You don't want to damage your viewfinder while you're working with a screw flying all over the place. I'll be using several magnetic dishes. I bought these at Harbor Freight. They will hold the screws and the parts so that they don't fly off the table and get lost. One thing to note is these screws are tiny and they're hardened steel. You drop one on a hardened surface like a table, it's going to bounce about 5 or 10 feet away. If you've got hardwood floors, when it hits the floor, it's going to go another 5 or 10 feet. You'll never find that screw. So I put a towel down to cushion the blow so I can find the screw if I do drop it. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is take off the top cold shoes, the front one and the back one, so that we can access the side panel to get it off. There are 3 hidden screws under that side panel, so we can't get that off until we get the top panel off. So we got to take the screws off, take the screws out of the cold shoe to expose those 3 open screws. We're removing screws from both cold shoes on the top plate. These screws are tiny. They're Phillips head. As I said before, they use a Phillips PH00. We're removing screws from both cold shoes on the top plate. These screws are tiny. They're Phillips head. As I said before, they use a Phillips PH00. And you have to really be aware of how you're taking these screws out or you'll strip the heads. We're using a Phillips head screwdriver to get the screws out of this top plate. You won't find them at the hardware store. Usually you have to get them from Amazon or Walmart. Okay, now we're going to start with the side screws and work our way around, and you can see about where I'm taking them out. Like I said before, I've listed these in the comment section below where they're located at and their position, front, back, top, bottom, and we'll just take those out as we go. This is not going to get that side plate off, the side panel rather, because we still have some hidden screws at the top plate we got to take off next. So here are the side screw locations, and we're just going around the bend here and then take them off, and then we'll flip the HDMI cover off, the little rubber piece at the front, and take the 3 or 4 or 5 screws out of there. I think there's 4 of them in there. Take those out, and there's one kind of hidden below the lank ports, kind of back up under there, and then we'll go from there. When we get to the side that is part of the bottom, the side and the bottom are made in one piece. The bottom has the tripod skid plate, and it's all in one piece with a piece that kind of curves up over the side of the piece we're replacing. They have screws in them also. This is the second Canon Vixia G-40 I've repaired with the same panel that had lens creep and kept focusing in and out. So it's not something I've done for the first time, but every time you do this, you have to keep looking for the screw holes because There are quite a few of them. Now we've got all the screws out of the bottom plates. You have to be mindful that there are 2 screws up next to the bottom of the lens in the front. That's part of the bottom plate, so they need to come out too before you can get the bottom plate off. We're going to check one more time and go around this for the side panel that we are replacing to see if we missed any screws. And some of these holes are deep and they look like the screw is empty, but it's just a screw is recessed further down in the hole. So we'll go around that, top, bottom, side, underneath of it, in the front. Make sure all holes are empty so that when we take the final 3 screws out from under the top panel, the side panel will just pop right off. And you'll need a replacement. That one's ready. There's the 2 top sides. There's another screw on the back, but first we want to get the bottom plate off. We have one more right here. See the one on the bottom. Some come out easy, some don't, because they've got the red adhesive on them. That one doesn't. It's the longer screw on the bottom, so that's all this side plate right here. On the bottom, we've got all kinds of screws. This is the plate that you slide on your tripod. Put these all together over here. Try to keep the screws separated by their length. Because if you put the wrong screw back in the wrong place, it just won't go in, and you strip the screw. That's why I don't use a drill on these. Drill will just strip the heads right out, and then you can't get screw out, and you're stuck. Take it to the machine shop and have them drill your screw out for you, and then you have to order some new screws. Do these all at one time and pull them all out. This is the second one I've had to repair. The first one was the same problem, 4-year-old camera, out of warranty, and the zoom just took off on its own. Okay, now we got the last of the screws out of all these places. There are 2 extra screws up next to the lens, 2 of them up here. Once you get these screws out, this slides up. You don't take the 2 screws out beside the hold down screw where you put the tripod. Just the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 screws out around that. You leave these in. And then you can pry this up. Once you get it loose, get the other edge over here, pry that right off, and then you've got this piece covering the outer part off. One screw left back here, and one screw up here in the top. Now the viewfinder and the other screw holders don't come out. That's for the, this is for the actually eyepiece part here. So we've taken that out. We've got the other one out up here. There are none in the power windows, no screws in there where you get your power. There's none on the top. Got all the way around the back, bottom, side, all the screws in the center here. Take my flashlight and just shine down here. Oh, one screw we missed right there. That's right down underneath the lank board. So we do have one more screw left. It's kind of hidden right here in the bottom. And it's a tiny screw, so it goes in the front. So that takes care of all those. Nothing on front, side, backs, and everywhere else. So now you don't want to scar the camera up, so you have to get these things off as easy as possible. I'll check one more time to make sure I don't have any screws left in here. And there's one right there. Just when you think you got them all, there's something else in there. And this is way down in there. Still haven't got a hold of those yet. Should let me on the side cage. Okay, we're back to the breakdown after a little break. We've already got the bottom off, which is laying right here. Showed you the screws on that. Now the top comes off. You took the cold shoes off. Now there's one screw right here that holds this top part down. The other two screws are right here, just the top left two. The left two screws are the only two up here. All these other screws go to something else. So you just need to take these two off, these two screws, one screw here, and then this will take it easy when you pull it off because you don't want to break it because it's a small piece. This comes down from out of here and it lifts up. There we go. You see it pull right out of there. Now you can see the screw hole there. There's just one screw hole to it. If I get a closer look at it here, one hole, and there's two on the side, which was the two I told you it goes down here on the top left. So now that's off, and you can probably see I've got this screw laying right beside of the piece I just took off, and I've got screws in my pan here, which is a Harbor Freight pan. And I got the other screws that have the cold shoes in another Harbor Freight pan. It's a rectangle. So I got everything separate so that I don't end up losing screws or trying to figure out where screws are at. So we got this top part off. Got two screws right here. I've left these two out because they go in the top up here. And I don't want to put them separate. So now we've got that off. Okay, I want to show you one other thing here. There are, as you can see, 1, 2, and down in here's 3. 3 screws here hold this left side on. You can't take that just side off because this holder is underneath that top. So you had to take the top panel off to get to these 3 screws only. That's job security, I guess. Means you had to send it back to Canon and be fixed because you wouldn't know where those holders were. We got those off. Okay, we're getting pretty close to the end here. The side's got to come off. There is one screw. If you take the viewfinder and lift it up, There's another hidden screw back in here in the back. It's kind of hard to see, so let me get a little light on it here. Yeah, it's right about in the center here. Screw will be right here. It's below the viewfinder. There we go. It's right below the viewfinder. Tricky screw. Okay. Now we can take the 3 tabs off up here and a little ribbon cable. There we go. It's going to come loose. There you go. Ribbon cable is going to come loose there. And that's this one right here. It slides back into the hole up here. Has a little piece of tape on it to hold it there. So that's one that goes up there. It just comes right out there. And when it comes back, it slides back into, like this one does. It slides right back into the hole it came out of, which will be up in here in the top. Now there's one more down at the bottom, right here. Just pulls right out. And keep in mind that the part where you can see through, that's the part that goes back into the ribbon hole here. So now we have it apart. And when we put this back together, up here, when this goes back on here, when this goes back on, that ribbon cable will be right in here, and you'll see right here, get out of the way, there's a little opening in that green piece right there. That's where this piece here goes. So I don't know why they did that way. I guess keep people like you and me from working on the camera. That'll go right in there and right back into that slot. And you see the gap is the tape on there. It's filled up, so it's back into the hole it came out of. So that would be just like that. Why they taped it in here, I don't know, but they taped the other one in there the same way. It had tape on it right there to hold it down. But when I'm putting it back together, I'll take the tape loose so I can get a good grip on this to put it back in. Okay. Now, in order to put this back together, we've got a bottom, which is this. It goes back on here later. We've got the top, which will go back on top of here. Turn it around right. It'll fit right down through there, and it has screw holes in it that goes down in the viewfinder. You open the viewfinder. Didn't want to put it back on that fast. And you'll see the 2 little holes there that go back down the viewfinder. So now we're down to where we're ready to put everything back. Here's your audio, your HDMI, and USB ports, and there's your mini link port. And here's your power. The yellow is the audio out or your earphones. You use either one, I guess. And this little wire here has a lot of hidden channels, so you gotta have to watch what you're doing with this. The cable I showed you before that's hanging loose down in here, that goes back in that little tiny slot right here, and the audio goes in that. That's the only thing you have left on that. So we're going to start putting it back together with the new piece. This is the old piece we took off. I can't see much that they may have changed to fix it, to make this better. I can see just a few little design changes in there, but they're not going to tell you the changes, or otherwise they'd have to fix it free. Okay, before I put this back, I took the tape loose off the inside of the new case. I want to put this back into the slot because you don't have enough finger room to get in and do that. So stick it back in the slot where it came out of and get it back together so it goes back in. It only goes in one way. And there it went. So that is in there, and a piece of tape will go on the other side. Now the audio part I can get back in pretty easy from the other side. So now you just want to put this back together. That's back together. And you'll hear some clicks once you get it in right, because it'll go back pretty much the same way it came out. But you got standoffs inside to help you guide it back together. And you'll hear them click as you get them in the right place. There we went. Clicks there. That lines up. That lines up. So that's all back together there. Now I'll put this one back in, and it's lined up. Two on the top. Two on the top. One's on the bottom. You got to hold the edge out. And the pins are on the bottom and the pins are in. So now the sound will work. So once you get that back in, all the electronics and all the things you put together, you're done with. Now it's just a matter of putting screws back together and getting all these parts back together right. So first thing we do, now we've got the top, backs, and sides off. We need screws up here, and that'll cover the other side of it up. We need this part back on, so we'll put that part back on first, since that's the part we took off first. This just goes in, snaps back on. You feel that snap back on. And these are the screws I took out of it, so pretty much know where I got those at. So we'll put all the screws back in here, 2 screws there, screw here, and 2 screws there, and that'll take care of this part. So we'll have that back together. Just stop there. Okay, we've turned this upside down now with our screws here so that we can get them back in the holes. Okay, we're going to do fast forward on these screws. On the bottom plate we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 screws, 9 over here. And tighten these up, because you may have to do this again someday. Don't over tighten the screws, because they've got an adhesive on the screws to make them tight, so they don't come working their way out very easy. So just take them down as far as it feels like they're snug. On the bottom especially, you don't want to lose your camera off your tripod, so you want to make sure they're snug. And because you got your 1/4-inch hole there on those. Get the rest of these in there. If there's anything sticking down below the surface of the plate, the surface here, your camera will not sit flat on your tripod. So make sure you got all these in, and like I say, you want to make sure they're snug. And these are the long screws. There's no short screws in here. Short screws on the sides. Long screws on the bottom, because you need the extra length of the screw to hold the plate down. And we're just about done with the bottom. It lines up pretty good. The side, we got a bunch on the side here. We got one in the back, which I laid down here. You have to pull the viewfinder out, lift it up to get to that one. That goes right in there. Okay, we're getting close now. We got the side on. We've got the bottom put back. There's a battery holder. We've got the side piece, and this is the cover for the side piece. It just has a little piece of rubber on the side of it, and it'll go right in the side here as soon as I got my light on it. See it just a little bit better. Okay, this will go back in that little hole there. It just sticks in there. It covers it. Takes care of that. Now we got the top. Get the top, we're done. We've got put all the screws back. Screws the bottom. I've got screws extra ordered from Canon. I'm going to replace some of the strip screws because you don't want to leave a strip screw in there, because they got the adhesive on the screw and it's hard to get them out, so you're tearing up the head of some of the screws. So if you order the package, order extra screws from Canon. They come in 2 sizes and they'll send you the right ones. And I'm going to leave these 2 out and replace them with screws that I know aren't stripped. And it's not going to hurt anything to leave them out right now. Got the screws in here at the top. So now we're ready to put the top bracket back on. Remember, this has a screw, goes right in here, right in the front, and turn it around where you can see it. And it's going to be hard to get to because that little hole only has 1 screw to it, and then your cold shoes go up here. So you put this down on the side, and remember you have the 2 hooks, 2 holes right here that go in inside the viewfinder. I always turn the viewfinder around so I don't scratch the viewfinder. There are the 2 holes right there that the 2 screws go in. These are the 2 small screws. So you open up the viewfinder and you snap this back down in here like so, and it snaps right on there. And those screws are going to go right down behind this piece here. So you put those in. Piece here has to go in, so you get back in there straight. Now that goes under here. That's why you had to take both sides off. This goes down behind the viewfinder. This snaps in, so you're done right there. So now all we have to do is put the 1 screw back in here that holds that down. Inside the viewfinder, we have 2 tiny screws, and we'll take those and put those back in here. 1 right in here, and 1 right in here, the last 2 slots up here, and that will take care of that. None of the other screws came out. We didn't take any of these others out. Then we'll put the 1 back in here, and then we'll get back to putting the cold shoes on. Okay, the first screw goes in the back. You can see where it's kind of hidden. It's back in the back corner, right next to your camera off and on medium. We're going to put that screw down in here. That holds the whole top plate on. I just put the 2 screws back in here. So I'm going to shut this. And let that open. Next thing I'll do is take my cold shoe, my plates, and get those back on here the way they were originally put in here. That one sits there. And the other one sits, you want to slide your camera in. Well, it's got a hole in the back of it, you can tell. There's 3 plates at the top. There's a hole in the middle. So the way it's going to go on is so you can slide your microphone or whatever into the back of this, and it locks at the front. So it just goes down, snaps in, and there it is. Snaps in. And then you put your screws in it. So that's all you have to do with that. And you're done, and we'll do a test here in a minute. Okay, we've got the top back on. Put the cap back on the back plate. Put the front shoe on. We've got everything in here. Put the battery back in. I don't have any cards in the card reader because I took those out. Now comes the moment of truth. We're going to see if it focuses or it comes on or if we're just out of luck. We got access here. The power light's on. Oh, there we go. We got a picture. No memory card. Well, we're just going to zoom anyhow. No memory card. That's what it says. We got a picture. Let's see what we have for zoom now. Oh, yeah. Zoom and focus. I'll have to set that a little lower because I don't want to zoom that fast, but see what happens here. Okay. It's not creeping. It's not going anywhere. I can turn it up, down. That's a good fix. So that saved about for less than $100 for this side piece. A lot of time and not really stress, but a lot of wondering what part goes where. Now you know. That's the bottom of the old one. It's fit over here, and this is what we replaced. That's the speaker. Back here was your power port. Up here was your microphone, your HDMIs, and all the other cables. Your LANC port, which I use a lot. And you can see the screw holes. 1, 2, there. In the back there was one right here. And that was about it for the back. The bottom had the 3 on the bottom that came up from the plate that we took off the shoe plate that holds it on the tripod. And you can see the ones on the top. You can see the holes in those. So this little $90 gadget direct from Canon. This is not aftermarket. This is an original Canon replacement part. They don't service this camera anymore, but they do have parts. And if they don't have parts, you can order it, and they will get their factory in Japan to make the part. Because this camera is out of production. It's not serviced. They will not do any service on that camera. They do have parts. And the reason they have parts is because I believe they knew that this focusing mechanism was the reason that this camera creeps in and creeps out for zoom. You leave it set like this somewhere, and you come back and look, and all of a sudden it's focused in closer and out of focus. So they knew this part inside here had something wrong with it. And you can buy just this part, but as you can see right here, you're never going to get that little tiny gray ribbon cable, the white ribbon cable, the ribbon cable in the back. You're never going to get this rocker arm out because it's got a little clipboard inside of it, a little circuit board. By the time you unscrew those two and get that out, get the cable out, get them unclipped, you might as well just pay the extra $30 and got the whole side arm, which has got all new ports, equipment, and everything in it, all new hookups. So that's the video, and I hope you have fun and can get your camera fixed, because this is too good of a camera to just throw away. And still got to put the Canon grip back on here, which I'll do later, because it just pulls up. That pulls out, goes through the back of here, and comes back around this way, and goes through the front, and goes back through this port, and tightens up so you can get your hand behind it. You just lift up the top part of it, Velcro it down, fasten it back, and that's how fast your camera grips on there, so you get your hand up in it. So that doesn't take very long. But I was going to leave it also and put those extra screws in when I get them. But thanks for watching, and hope you enjoyed it.